Bukne, and I'm a business advisor at UK India Business Council. And my role is to create awareness among the businesses across south of England and South Wales about Indian market. What are the opportunities there? What are the challenges there? In my today's presentation, there are three parts. The first part, I'm going to talk about India overall, just give you the brief information, give you the flavor about India. The second part, I'm going to talk about how the economy is the growing in Indian market. And third part is what are the opportunity for the broadcasting, for the film and music and radio. So let's start our journey. If you see that India is huge, it's the world's largest democracy. If you see there are 29 states, but the 29 states like 29 countries. So when you are thinking or planning to go to India, you have to be very specific that where you want to go, where is the market for you, rather than generalize the things. But the population is 1.27 billion, and second largest English-speaking country. After the second, the first is US and second is India. Literacy rate has gone up, and actually the census was taken in 2011, so I'm sure that after that it has increased drastically, but it is till that time it was 74%. Employment rate is 4.9, which is high considering the population, and that's where the new government is targeting now. The currency of India is rupee, Indian rupee, and at the currently if you see that the sterling pound is equal to 100 rupees. If you see the economy size, it's a 2 trillion US dollars. And the foreign direct investment since last 15 years is around $265 million invested in India. If you see this GDP growth is 7.5%. It's huge and is growing. And this is the first time since 1919 the India has outpaced China in foreign direct investment. So India is most of the foreign direct investment going to India at the moment. If you see the rupee, the depreciation against the dollar among the developing nations, Indian rupee is the minimum depreciation happen. The economists actually before 2 years before the economist was saying that India is a sleeping giant. Nothing was happening. A lot of things were taking long time to enter into Indian market. The business was not moving. So the same economist now saying that this is the best chance for India to fly. And if you see the stock market here, Indian stock market is booming at the moment. And if you see the currency, it's also the depreciation is very low, but it's steady over last 2 years. The income, the middle income is growing very fast as well. If you see the India's third largest economy after China and US of purchasing power parity. The GDP growth, which I mentioned to you, is increased from 450 billion to 2 trillion US dollars. The most important thing, if you see the India's sector-wise, it is changing now. India used to be dominated by agriculture. The major part of the economy was agriculture, but it's shrinking now. Used to be 32% in 90s. Now it's become 16%. And it is more and more services industry are entering into Indian market. This is the IMF forecast, and it is happening. India's growth, the economic growth is 7.3% at the moment, and it will grow to 7.5% this year, and it will grow to 8.3% by next year. So this is actually the Indian market is very important for UK, and I will tell you why it is so important and why the David Cameron has visited India 3 times in his last term, and he invited Indian Prime Minister Mr. Modi here last year. UK is the third largest, FDI in India. First is Mauritius, second is Singapore. You will wonder why the Mauritius. Do you know anyone why Mauritius is such a small country? There is the tax agreement between this country, India and Mauritius, and India and the Singapore. So some of the UK and US businesses exporting to India through these two countries to avoid the double taxation. You're right. But if you remove that factor, UK is the largest the exporter to Indian market. As I already mentioned, is the largest investor among G20 countries. These are all the statistics, but if you see that that number is quite high, actually, the FDI from UK contributes 9% to total FDI of India. This is the political scenario of Indian market. What's happening in India? If you see a lot of saffron color all over India, that shows that one political party got the majority in the Indian market. You will say, what's the big deal about it? Many countries has got the majority. But Indian perspective is a huge achievement because the last government, Indian government in India, had 24 alliances. And you just imagine how it would have been difficult for them to push forward the policies. And any political party got the majority in India. The last time was in 1984, almost 30 years back. After that, there was no majority. So this is very significant for India's perspective. But another important thing is that this time, the election was majorly fought on the basis of development, not on the basis of region, religion, casteism, but only on development. And the majority is also quite thumping majority. If you see that that political party called BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party, they require 272 seats to prove the majority in the parliament. They on their own got 282, plus their alliances, they have got more than 320 seats in the parliament. And this happened because of this very charismatic person, the new Prime Minister of India, as Prime Minister Modi. And he is very determined to invite the foreign direct investment and ready to do and take all the steps to make sure the foreign direct investors will have easy access in Indian market. And if you say that his code says everything, I want to assure you there is no red tape, but the red carpet is waiting for you. And in just 1.5 years, a lot of things have changed. It's not only the talk that what he's promised during the campaigning, but he is now converting that promise into the action now. If you just see that before Modi government, India's inflation was running at 9% and growth was 5%. And now inflation is down to 5% and the Indian economy is around 7.3% now. First time since 1999, India has outpaced China in foreign direct investment. So India is leading the league in foreign direct investment ahead of China and US. As I promised, IMF already supported India's the forecast, and they expect that India will grow to 8.3% by next year. Ease of doing business, I know that number is still high, but till last year, India was 142 among 189 nations in ease of doing business. But this government has taken the initiatives on the state level and the central level, and that it has shown the result. And if you see that the India is now 130, the 12 got the better ranking now. If you see the nation, India's brand as a nation has also increased. And in the transparency, the survey, India is scoring ahead of China. There are quite a lot of initiatives has been taken by government. For if you see that regulatory framework, now for foreign direct investor, the most important thing is that the India has liberalized in 15 sectors. So given that you can invest 100% in Indian market. The competitive federalism is the one important thing what has happened during this government's time. What is the cooperative federalism is that central government has given the autonomy to the state governments, and also they have got a more share in the central taxation. So now the state government can invite foreign direct investment directly. They don't have to wait for this central government. So that's why the many state governments are coming to UK and going to US and other places to invite the foreign direct investment. So the main purpose of that, the government's purpose is to do that is to create competition between the state level to so that they can invite and more foreign direct investors. As I already mentioned, ease of doing business. There's a lot of emphasis is given to do the ease of business, and the government the planning the more initiatives, and they're working very closely with the World Bank to increase their rating. Make in India is another very the ambitious campaign is going on. Make in India is all about to invite the foreign direct investor to India and to provide them all the facility to to make their manufacturing hub in Indian market, so they can manufacture the product in India and cater across the world. As I mentioned initially, if you see in my first slide, it was saying that India's unemployment rate is quite high, which is 4.9%, and that to target that to reduce that number, this is very critical for Indian market. Digital India is another very important. The government has invested quite a huge amount of money. If you see the 17.5 billion, which is around 11 billion pounds, in the different sectors, from the agriculture, healthcare, education, so that because if you see the 30% India is in urban area, but 70%, the majority India is still in the rural area. And to reach that level, the government is planning to connect to those people through the broadcast, the broadbands and the internet. There are 100 smart cities coming up in India. In fact, the first list of the cities were released just 2 weeks back, and central government is giving the money to them, and so that those cities or the towns can develop themselves in next 5 years. Hygiene infrastructure. I'll just give the one example of that. If you aware about the ice bucket challenge, the competition, the central government has done the same thing in India. What the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Modi, came on the road with the broom in his hand and started cleaning the roads. And then he nominated 9 people from different areas and 15 different the sectors. And if you see, it's been there, he's done almost 1.5 years back, but now it's spread across India. Everybody, the celebrity or corporates are adopting the village or the city or the corner of the city and they assure to the government they will make it clean, and they then nominate another 9 people so they can carry forward. Now here's the stuff. You can see median and so what is the present status and the growth prospects for Indian market for the media and entertainment. If you see the market size of the entertainment industry is 10 billion. It was in 2013 and growing by almost 12%. The television industry in India is estimated around 4 billion in 2013, and it's growing by 16%. It's the largest TV market. If you have 161 million viewers. In 2018, digital advertising projected to have highest compound annual growth rate, 27 almost 28%, and the other sectors growing by almost 9 to 80%. There is a growth, there is a prospect. Who is driving that the prospects? If you see the TV penetration in India, it's 65%. It's huge, because India is a massive country. It's the 7th largest country in the world, and plus the population India is a second populous country. But by 2022, India will be the populous country in the world, ahead of China. So if you see the increasing liberalization and tariff relaxation, which I mentioned, that government is taking a lot of initiatives to relaxing the tariffs and the relaxing policies to invite the foreign direct investor. Rising income. The per head income in India is rising very rapidly. Then highest penetration and rapidly growing young population. India's total population, as I mentioned, is 1.27 billion, but 52% is less than 24 years old. So you can just imagine world's 25% youths are living in India at the moment. And they are actually they are very technology savvy, the young generation. And if you see that even the mobile, there are 900 mobile users in India, but 250 million mobile, they are using smartphones and 45 million the tablets. So you just imagine the numbers, they are quite huge. Where are the opportunities for the investment? Of course, the television is there. Television advertisement revenue expected to witness robust growth from 1.25 billion in 2012 to 2.53. So it's almost double. Double the growth is there. Film industry is quite huge. Is not only the business, but it's a passion in India. There are almost 1,000 approximately movies are made in India. Uh, Not only the Bollywood movies only considered as a Hindi movies, but there are a lot of regional movies also been made in India, South Indian or West Indian or the North Indian. So and it's a huge market there in India and out of India as well. They now the joint production promoted co-production agreement has been signed with the different countries. If you can see, there are different names of the countries, and they are working jointly with the Hollywood and the other parts of the film industry. Size of Indian radio industries also is growing very fast. Music industry, as I already mentioned to you, now the smartphones and the internet is penetration is so high in India now, so that the number is going and it will grow for definitely for all the way. Animation is also industry also quite big, and there's a lot of development is happening. As I mentioned to you, is because this is the only start for India, and there's a lot of opportunities coming up on the way, and there are at the moment, and this is a very exciting time for India and to be in India for the foreign investors. So why export to India? India is a huge country. As I mentioned to you, the economic growth rate is quite high, is above 7%. And growth is largely driven by the domestic demand. It's not coming from outside. And rapidly growing middle class. Now, if you see the number of middle class, today the India has got 148 million middle class, and they are growing by 65%. So by next year, India will have around 270 million middle class. At the same rate, by 2025, India will have 500 million middle class people. So that you can just imagine the young population, the middle class is growing, and their income is also rising. So there are mainly three drivers for the growth. I already mentioned to you is the young population is quite high in India, income is rising, and the middle class is growing at the same time. Now the next round of development is happening in the second-tier and third-tier cities, and that's this government plan is to spread out the growth across the India and to reach to the villages and the rural area, and there is the development is happening now. There are new sectors are coming up. As I already mentioned, the rapid economic growth means there is opportunity for each and every sector in India at the moment. And another important thing is that the local businesses, the Indian businesses, they are also would like to compete in the global market, and they are finding the right partner to work along with them. But there is a lot of opportunity. There's all the things are going in the right direction at the moment, but they still India has we need to understand the challenges about the Indian market. It's not that easy to just enter into that market. You have to understand how to enter into market, where is the opportunity, and what are the taxation regulations, and who are the competitions, because we are in the UK, but there are many other countries are trying to enter into Indian market. So need to understand the market fully before even going to India. And that's where UK India Business Council can help you to enter into the, so to we will hold your hand to enter into the market so that you can land in the Indian market smoothly. So who are we? What is the UK India Business Council is doing? We are the premier organization. It's supported by UK government. It's you can say that we are the extension of UKTI, UK Trade and Investment, but we focus only for Indian market. So we help on these through these 4 steps to enter into the Indian market. First, to learn how the Indian market is for you. We assess that the product and the Indian market, how the scenario is there for your particular product. We will plan with you how to enter into the market, and we also help you to launch and grow in Indian market. So there are 3 major functions what we are doing at the moment. That's my role is, as I mentioned, that to reach to the businesses across the south of England, including London and the South Wales, to create awareness about Indian market, and to just give the confidence that okay, India is used to be complicated. Still, there is a complications are there, but it's a massive growth and massive opportunities there, which you can't avoid that at the moment. And if you consider the rest of the world, our developing countries are not doing so well. If you see that India is the only country in this scenario is doing so well. We are also providing the business support. We have sector specialists, including digital innovation, based in India and in UK as well. For the members, we have got limited members, so we invite those members to the networking sessions because there are a lot of ministers from, as I mentioned, state governments, representatives or ministers coming here, and UK minister going to India. We organize the events and invite the members to attend those events, so that India is a very bureaucratic still now. Things are changing, but still now. So it is very important to reach to the right people, because otherwise it's very time consuming. And that's where actually we were helping to the businesses to reach to the right people. So even though, as I mentioned, that we are the part of UKTI and these UK supported organization, but we have our own board members, and the board is chaired by Patricia Hewitt. If you know Patricia, she used to be trade secretary in Labour government, health secretary and women secretary. So she is the chairperson. And if you say the board members are corporates from India and from UK as well. Same thing about the advisory council. If I just give you a couple of examples, like Sunil Kant Munjal, he is the second largest motorbike manufacturer in the world. So he is one of the board member. The Tata is there, and Noel Tata is there. Then the Arup and Pavers, there are lot many businesses who are doing really well in the Indian market. We have set up 3 offices across India. For our head office is in Delhi, second office is in Bangalore, and third office is in Mumbai. And we are planning to set up more offices at now the 2 second-tier cities like Chennai, Hyderabad, Calcutta, Mumbai, and Ahmedabad. So these are the plans at the moment. We want to develop this by 2018. And as I mentioned, that we have got, these are the key sectors we are concentrating at, and we realize that there is a huge potential in this market, and we have got a sector specialist for each of these sectors in India and in UK as well, which includes the digital innovation. So what we offer you, what are the services UK India Business Council offer to you? First thing is that, as I mentioned, to help you to understand the market for your product. It's not just general information, and that information you'll get it from the ground, that how the market work for your as I mentioned, who are the competitions there, what is their marketing strategy, what price they are selling at, how is the regulation, how is the taxation, because the taxation is still very complicated in India. There are different slabs, central government, state government, municipal level. At the same time, there are different states have different tax structure. It's going to change over the period, because India is planning to introduce the goods service tax, which will unify the tax regime in Indian market. But it has passed through the lower house, but it got stuck in the upper house. But I'm sure that very soon it will be introduced. That time you can consider India as a one market. But till that time, there is a lot of complications. So you need to understand how the market works, different states, and what is the tax structure there. Once you realize, and another important thing, where is the hotspots? Because if your product demand is in north and you have got some partner or looking for the market in the south, is a waste of time because a huge distance between the two. By flight itself, it takes more than 3.5 hours from south to the north. Once you realize that there is a market, then we'll just help you to identify the local partner, distributor, or the agent. If you think that, okay, we want to open our own office, then we help you to through all the legal process to open your own office in India. Then another very important service is a launchpad. This launchpad service is kind of to test the water on the ground. So we hire a consultant on behalf of you. That consultant will work only for your company for 1 year. He can do business development, he can carry out market analysis, he can do everything, except he can't raise an invoice because he's employed by us. So 1 year you can have that time to understand the market, you develop the market, and once you think that now I'm ready to come my own, then we help you to enter into that market. The business centers, which there are 3 business centers as I mentioned, Delhi, Mumbai, and Bangalore. There are incubation space available, so you don't have to work from the hotel. There are hot desk or workstation, cabins are there, so you can hire those places and you can work from there. If you already establish in Indian market and you are looking for the recruit the staff, we help you. We use our local intelligence to recruit the staffs in India. We organize a lot of trade missions to take the UK businesses to India to just give them the feeling that how the things are working on the ground, introduce them to the local businesses so that they set up the networking session there. Because to do the business, it's very important to hit the ground to see what's happening exactly there rather than seeing from the email, through the email or the video. Another thing is that we organize a lot of master classes, sector-based and culture-based. So if you are thinking that there is you want to understand a bit more about the culture or particular sector or a particular the tax regime or regulations, then we organize a lot of the master classes. We organize the marketing events. Suppose you have a product and you want to understand how this product will be accepted, then we organize the marketing event in India. We invite all the the target audience, and you go and present them to the audience. We also organize a lot of webinars and other things as well. So there's a lot of the services available. Just to show you that some of the pictures, how these offices in India look like. So this is a Gurgaon, which is a head office. Again, there's a Gurgaon, the head office, there's a training room and the cabins, conference room. This is a Bangalore office. They are quite good size offices around. And these are the hot desk which I'm talking about. And its cost is not that high. It's just £500 per year, and you can use it for 50 times in a year. And this is a Mumbai office. And these are the few names. So the British companies are UK companies are working from our the services, our offices.